Alright, so we have my 2001 two-wheel drive 4Runner. Got it about a month ago, working out all the kinks in it. Really in good shape, didn't need much. The only thing it genuinely needs is a evap leak diagnosed, which I did get done at Toyota for 90 bucks. They ran the smoke machine on it and figured out it was leaking at the fill check valve, which is the valve on top of the tank that shuts off the gas pump when it feels that the tank is full, and also shuts it off if you roll over, so it doesn't just pour out of the filler neck. So that took a long morning of sitting at Toyota for them to do it, but I had them do it. Got the part here. Here's the part number if anybody needs that. And here's what the part is. Valve assembly. Sits right on top of the gas tank. And in order to get that, we have to drop the gas tank, of course. And while I have the gas tank dropped, since it's on the original fuel pump, I'm doing the fuel pump because I don't want to find out when that thing goes bad. And I'm doing the fuel filter because that just makes sense since we're basically doing the entire fuel system at this point. So I got the car jacked it up by the rear axle. Got my big 6-ton jacks on the frame, and then I'm just scared, so I put my little wimpy jacks there to catch it, which aren't even touching the damn thing. I know it's stupid. Got my impact driver, got some wrenches, impact sockets. Probably will need pliers and all that stuff, but for now we're gonna start with cracking open the fuel filter on the car, which is right there. So I'm going to crack that line open, got my drain line here, and that'll relieve all the pressure in the line and also start the process for changing the filter. Then we'll move on to dropping the tank. Okay, so I took off the gas tank brush guard. It's actually kind of harder than it looks because this extremely stupid bracket right here ties into the I believe it's part of the charcoal canister lines. I could be wrong, it might be the parking brake line. I don't know, I was pissed off when I found out that there was more to it than just the bolt way up there, so that's dumb. All 12 mils. And then before I get any further removing it, I'm going to disconnect this harness here, which ties into the sending unit, because if I don't, then you're just going to yank on all these wires and cause damage. So what I ended up doing is just unplugging whatever that is and whatever that is on the sending unit. And as well as this, I just fed the wires down and out, and that way I run no risk of yanking on any of the wires on the harness. Okay, so maybe an hour and a half later of losing my mind, the tank is free. Okay, so what I ended up doing was, after undoing the wiring and that stuff, I fiddled around with how they put multiple connections in the lines, trying to make this job easier. Really isn't that easy regardless of whatever you do. So what I ended up doing was taking off the brush guard and then dropping the bolts on the tank and just making sure everything was loose. As you can see, I loosened this one up as well as that one for the filler neck, just seeing which one gave out first as I wiggled it out. And then I had it leaning at an angle like this with a jack underneath it, so I could just barely feed my hand up under there and undo these. The hardest part though is definitely, I don't know if you can see it up in there, but there's a stupid connector on the fill check valve right here that will fight you every bit of the way. It is absolutely stupid. I'll try and put a picture in right here of how it works, but horrible design, and I ended up breaking it partly, so I'm probably just gonna put some form in place gasket, just a smidge of it around here to make sure it seals when I put it back in. But you can see the hairline crack right. Oh, it's kind of bad light. You can see the hairline crack right along there, but that's enough to set off the check engine light. So, shit. So, luckily my gasket wasn't all dried out, so I didn't have to fight that. But it's time to just press the new one into place, and then I'll get cracking on the fuel pump job, which will entail just removing these bolts up top here. I also left the feeder lines to the engine in place because it's just more stuff to break, and they make them flexible so you can move it around. So I left them on, connected to the car up there. So this is what it looks like with the sending unit out. Looks to be a pretty original pump. I mean, judging by the age of the strainer right here, but the gas tank is pretty clean, which is good. There's a little schmutz in there, but just right where the pump sits, so I can wipe that out. But now I'll do some disassembly of this and pop the Denso unit in. So now we have a almost back in place gas tank. What I had to do was do it in reverse. Just like I said, I had it at angle towards the front. I was just using jack stands to buy myself some room to plug in the hoses up top. I probably had it down maybe 4 inches compared to where it is bolted up, and that gives you enough room to wiggle around, and that's all you really need, especially with that complicated clip for the fill check valve, that weird one that I ended up breaking. Since now all you got to do is plug it back in and not be all intricate about it, it's a lot easier. Since I broke it, I just used some Toyota gasket maker. Hopefully it holds. I'm gonna be so broken-hearted if that just is the source of another leak. I'll keep you updated on that. If it is the source of another leak, then I might just surrender and take it to the dealer and have them install a new one.
Holy shit! He's running! Oh my!
Of whatever the hoses that I broke. So we're this far along now. Got to put on the back strap and the shield, and that should be it. So we'll be back. So here you are, I don't know, 3-4 weeks later. I ended up driving the car just shy of a week to get the drive cycle to complete. I didn't try, and it never failed. The first shot it passed, so I didn't follow that the Toyota directions exactingly on how to get it to pass, so that would have just been too tedious, and it wasn't that urgent. The plate still had a week or two left on it. The form in place gasket held up just fine that I had to use on that one hose. You got to keep in mind it holds transmission pans and things like that, so 1 psi of gas vapor pressure isn't going to kill it. And yeah, that's really it. The 4Runner's coming along just fine. Got my radar detector hardwired in, got a microphone finally, got the CB radio installed down here. Things are coming along. I got the little Will CB antenna up there. I did order my 4Runner plate. I'm still rolling with the paper one for now, but I do want to get rid of the gold badges. I know some people love them, some people hate them. It's love-hate for me. I kind of think they're stupid. But I got winter tires ready to go at the shop. I'm just not putting them on until it actually gets cold. I don't know if I had the weather techs in the last video. What else? I got a Satoshi grill ordered. I cleaned up the battery terminals and put protectors on them. Did the brake fluid. Really fixed a long pedal travel issue I had. Did the radiator, hoses, fan clutch and fan, and thermostat. And I got plugs and wires on order because these wires are 2001. So they have 370 something thousand miles of power running through them, so I'm sure there's plenty of resistance. Hopefully that'll take care of a little vibration I have at idle. And otherwise I'm just plucking away at little things, making sure this thing's roadworthy and that I could trust it whenever I need it. So thanks for watching. Comment any video ideas you guys might have or questions about the 4Runner, because I got many more projects to come. They'll slow down a little bit as winter comes, but that's all right. I'll still do a few. Thanks for watching.